My skin is black.
What you looking
My
at?
skin
Yeah,
is black.
I feel so good
My
to be
skin
black right now.
is black.
What you look-
Welcome to episode 116 of the Black in Fashion podcast. Make sure you guys check out our Black Note series. You should be sending in any advice you need, questions. It can be personal or it can be fashion related, and we will discuss on the show and kind of give you our expertise and our advice and little tips on it. Definitely make sure you are a part of our I Am BNF campaign. We want to hear your videos, why you are black in fashion, what it means to be black in fashion. So please submit those to us via DM or our email. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to shop the Black Designer Closet Sale on our website as well. We have to keep the black dollar circulating. So I am Lenise Collier. I am your host, and today I am joined with Alycia. Am I saying that right? Alycia. Thank you so much, Alycia, for joining me. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's just start. I like to do a little icebreaker before I start any episode. So we're just going to do a this or that, okay? So, skinny leg or flare leg?
Flare.
Mule or wedge?
Mule.
Crew neck or V-neck?
Crew.
Side boob or under boob? Right?
Side.
Hoop or stud?
Hoop.
Always. Always a hoop. Okay, so let's get into it. So tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and how you started your fashion career.
All right. I'm originally from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
I moved up after college in 2016. Before I moved up, I had a chance to intern the summer before my senior year with Laquan Smith.
Amazing.
Which was really nice. I love all the big things he's doing now. He's so inspirational, down to earth. Like, that was a really great experience. I knew that when I moved to New York that I wanted to start my clothing brand, which is something that I wanted to do since I was 7 years old.
Nice.
It's just a passion that never left me, and it was just a natural thing. I remember that day like it was yesterday. My mom had a pair of jeans that were supposed to get donated to Goodwill, but they were sitting in the room for weeks. And I just took the jeans, took some scissors, started creating a handbag, took it to school the next day. Got so many compliments on it, and that was just how I got my start in designing. Gotcha. So I started with purses, eventually moved to clothing. I moved to New York. I worked for a little bit, for about 2 years, and then I finally decided to take that leap. I had no idea where to even start because in college they don't teach you how to start your business. It's just...
What school did you go to?
I went to UNC Greensboro.
UNC, and they have a fashion design program.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I have a major in apparel product design. So they basically just teach you how to make patterns, how to drape, but not how to start a business.
Of course.
So I was completely lost. There's a company in New York, but they have different organizations all over the country. It's called SCORE. So they pair you up with a mentor. They help you write your business plan, give you some advice. So that's where I started the initial process. And just through other connections that I made from my previous internship, I was able to land other people that wanted to help me and show me how to get manufacturers, how to get appointments with...
You didn't come to LC Apparel Consulting?
I had no idea at the time.
No, I'm playing. You said 2016. I'm like, we wasn't open in 2016.
I had no idea.
We wasn't open in 2016. We opened in 2018.
So yeah, it's just been a process, been a journey. When I did start my brand, I named it Evelyn Elizabeth. That was my grandmother, my mom's mom. Super sweet, classy, feisty, elegant, sophisticated. So that's who I based my brand off of.
And the first thing you made was a bag.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Let's just tell you something funny. I learned how to sew, and I wanted to start to be a fashion designer when I was 7. My brand is Collier. That's my name and my grandmother's name.
Oh.
And I make bags.
Nice.
Yeah, but my brand is named after my granny as well. I learned how to sew at a very, very young age as well. And yeah, and I make handbags.
Nice.
Coincidence.
So I created a small collection first. My mentor that I had at the time suggested just making a few small pieces just to get my feet wet, get a feel for everything. Send out not press release. I can't think of the proper term, but like send out
like a brand X.
Yeah,
brand
to
X.
different
Media
boutiques.
outlets.
Right,
Yeah.
and just see what happens. I got a few bites from Bella and Gigi Hadid's stylist that wanted to pull some pieces for a fitting. Later, they wanted to grab some more pieces for other clients that they had. But I don't know. I guess I never really knew where to go from there. It's like, even though you dress if you dress a celebrity, it's like, that's great press, but that doesn't make you any money.
Right. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't actually articulate to sales, you know. So that's the thing. Like, a lot of times, you know, a lot of designers are, you know, gung-ho on making sure they, you know, dress a celebrity, but the celebrities are not the general public, and they're not your consumer either. A lot of times they're not even your target market. They have the designer brands they work with. So sometimes I see that as a mistake that designers do make when coming out the door. So when you had your samples and everything like that done, you did that first. What did you do after that? Like, did you try to do like a website launch? Like, what was your retail distribution plan?
Honestly, I was thinking that after I sent out the images of my garments, and I went into a few boutiques and stores just to show them the actual product and the quality. I guess I was hoping they would place some orders, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, yeah. You got to know the buyers and stuff like that. You got to be able to fulfill a PO. It's a lot of, and honestly, in that world, and in the buying world, in the retail distribution world, it's all about who you know and the relationships that you've built up with people who have the money to do so. Because like, buyers are allocated a certain amount of money, you know, to buy for the stores, but then they're also allocated, you know, in certain areas. Like, okay, this is the sleepwear buyer, this is the women's ready-to-wear buyer, but it's definitely a who you kind of know kind of world, for sure. Absolutely.
One of my previous jobs, I had a chance to meet Sam Edelman, the shoe designer. Nice. And he actually put me in contact with one of his good friends that at the time was the president of Saks. Oh, nice. So I was able to sit down with him and just show him what I had and just ask him from a business standpoint, like, what should I do? Like, I have no idea what to do. And he just kind of gave me the rules. He's like you said, as buyers, they have a certain budget that they work with, and they need to know your brand story. Like, who are you? Why should I buy your products and put it in the store? And how do I know it's going to sell? Gotcha. Comes down to the numbers. And when he put it that way, I'm like, that is so true. Yeah.
You work in the fashion industry now?
No, I'm taking a little break.
Yeah, I see why. Yeah. You've been getting the damn runaround. Okay. So tell me about your experience. I know you, you know, we talked via email, and we talked about you putting your items in this particular store. Yes. And tell me what that experience was like for you. Share your story on that.
Yes. So I was kind of at a standstill, didn't know where to go and how to take my business to the next level. I was under the impression that if I put some items in a showroom just to get some extra exposure, or to see if clients wanted to make or have garments made to order, just to try all my outlets. So I put majority of my samples into a showroom that I will not name due to legal reasons. And everything, it just was bad timing, honestly, because I signed a contract right before the pandemic started.
Gotcha. So
I had like
January 2020.
Mid-February 2020.
Okay. Mid-February
so I had
2020.
Like 3 weeks of normalcy, and then all of a sudden everything shut down. So I expressed my concerns with the co-owner at the time, just like, hey,
we're going to call this store FS.
And I expressed my concerns with the co-owner that, you know, everything that stayed in the contract, that I would get to participate in New York or Paris Fashion Week. I would get a certain amount of pulls per week for stylists or magazine shoots. Everything was shut down. So
time out. Just a quick question. You did the showroom portion. You didn't do the sales floor.
No, just the showroom portion.
Just the showroom portion. Okay, cool. All right.
Because I wasn't really confident with even producing garments for anybody, which is weird, because I feel like I want to take my business to the next level, but then I didn't really know how to, like, when it comes to grading the patterns or knowing the target customer's body it's a lot that goes into it, and I was really kind of nervous. Like, I don't know if I want to jump right into sales, or do I want to just see what
you want to test the market first. As you should. You should always test the market. You do got to get your sizing and stuff like that down before you start testing the market, and then just make updates to it. But just to give you guys a little background information, the particular store that we're talking about is a collective for aspiring and emerging designers, and is located in New York City. What they do is they provide a showroom option as well as a retail option option for aspiring designers to basically rent for a certain amount of time. You can rent a rack, or you can rent like a wall if you have like accessories or whatnot, and you can be in the showroom portion where you get the pools and stuff, or you can be on the retail side where they would sell your merchandise in store. I've worked with them in the past. I worked with them when they literally first opened, because I've actually worked in the store. So when they first opened, they had a sign-up sheet. Where the people whose brands were in the store had to work at the store. So you'd have to sign up at least 2 or 3 days out the week for you to be a salesperson in the store. And you would sell, of course, your merchandise of the stuff that you had there. It was either you or a representative from your company. You would either have to sell your merchandise and stand close to your merchandise. And then you could also, help with other, people's merchandise in the store as well. So that's how the initial setup was. And literally when they first opened, that's how it was. Like, you had to be there, which to me made sense, because ain't no one going to be able to sell your product like how you do on the retail side. At least they didn't even have the showroom side originally. That's new. That's not something that they had when did this shit open? In 2015, 2016, that's when they had it where you had to like be in the store, which I thought was a good idea. We even do a party in the store. Me and the designer that I was working for at the time, I was a production and product development manager when I originally was working in this store. I had just started my LC career, and it was your job, I guess, to like really, really put your merchandise out there. But they since changed those guidelines and hired sales associates for the store, and created like a showroom and stuff like that. So I just wanted to give y'all some background on this store, but go ahead, continue with what happened with you.
Let's see. Yes, so pandemic hit. I had concerns about the contract because everything was shut down. Nothing was going on. Let's see. I can't skip over that part.
You're gonna have to tell us though. I said we ain't gotta say no names, but FS is tripping.
And so they paused my account until the city reopened. The buzz still wasn't the same as before the city shut down. So I'm still expressing my concerns. Like, I'm really not looking forward to moving forward with the contract when things are just so uncertain right now. 2020 was a wild year, and we had no idea what was going on. I seriously thought we all were going to die. So I'm like, I could care less about a showroom right now. Like, I think we're all going to die. And I stopped paying because I felt like I wasn't getting any bang for my buck.
As you should. May I just add to this that before the pandemic, there still was not a lot of foot traffic, and it still wasn't beneficial, just so you know. So I don't want you to blame the pandemic on what happened to you. The store is it's just not great. Like, the money that you pay pays their rent, and it pays for their employees. But if you were to look at, and back then you can look at the sales too. Like, there was a clipboard at the top of the register or whatever where you can see, and even then, it was never there. Like, to me, they don't push enough for sales and making sure, and that's just in the sales department. And I can only imagine, if you're not pushing on the sales floor, imagine what's happening in the showroom portion. Yeah, it's just there. It's really just a place where people can pick up, stylists can pick up stuff for their photo shoots. But like I said, their photo shoots don't make any money. So really, to me, the entire store is a sham. In my opinion, just because, and not just for Black designers either, because one of the designers I work with who had the same issue, she was Polish, and she had really nice apparel, and it was great. But I literally went in there and took her stuff out the store too. Like, I went to the inventory room, grabbed all our hangers, grabbed all our stuff. Deuced. I walked in there another time, got something for another client. She had outerwear, and it was sitting on man. It was her samples. It was her samples, and her samples weren't in the showroom. It was samples on the sales floor, which also made no sense, So I'm just like, why would you take the only samples that you have and put them on the sales floor, knowing that if somebody wants to buy it, they have to have it made to order? That's not how retail works. When you walk into a retail store, you usually want to buy off the rack. You don't want to make it to order. So they sold her a dream, and it sounded good. The whole thing sounds good, but think about who you're surrounded by. And think about the people who shop in Soho. If you think about the people that shop in the Soho neighborhoods and in the downtown Manhattan neighborhoods, in the uptown Manhattan neighborhoods, and you have a store like that with price points all over the place. So you got price points with people that are in contemporary and bridge and moderate. And it's so much different things that anybody shopping in that store is fucking confused. Yeah. Like, you might as well just do a whole bunch of pop-ups and call it a day. Than to pay for something like that. But
So back and forth with not wanting to proceed. I went in person to retrieve my samples. They told me that a few items were still out and I could grab everything all at once. They'll let me know when everything's back. It's like, okay. So I followed up with an email like, hey, just let me know when everything's all there so I can come and collect it. And I got hit with the response that after you pay your balance, then you can pick up your stuff. Like, until you pay your balance, your stuff is staying here. So, honestly, at that time, I was just like, okay, if it's just going to sit there until I pay you, then fine, it can wait. Right. Because that was still early 2020. Like, it was just a rough year. It was
2020 was definitely a rough year.
A rough year. Yeah, and man, I lost my train of thought.
You were waiting on them to tell you that when all your stuff was there, then you got hit with that email that said you can't pick it up, and it's gonna sit there. And
in my mind, it was kind of like, okay, if it's just gonna sit there till I pay, okay, that's fine. I have other things that I need to take care of, like my rent, my food. Like, it was tough. I was strapped. So finally able to satisfy the balance, and I got hit with the response that my items were donated because they were sitting there too long.
You paid the balance before?
No.
Oh, shit.
No,
okay.
no.
Okay, you were about to pay the balance.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha. Okay.
And I was notified that my items were donated, and
to who?
Never told me.
Interesting.
Never.
So your items were donated. When were they donated? Like a month before, a couple weeks before? At what point were they donated?
I have no idea. They would not answer any of my questions. I have everything documented. Like,
did you ever go there?
No, because I want everything in writing. I don't want them to tell me, oh, we sent it here, we sent it there, and just make something up. I want to get it in writing, what they tell me.
When you originally took your items there, you shipped them or you took them there personally?
I took them there personally.
And were you ever able to go in the showroom yourself, or is something that you just gave it to them, and then did you have access to the showroom so that you can like walk around and see it yourself?
They had all the items like in a downstairs room on a rack, and it was kind of divided.
And that's the showroom,
right? So that's where the stylists and everybody like come through and I guess look through the clothes. And
I want to go down there and see if they really gone. I do. I just can't. I mean, because it's like, who you donating them to? You know, like I can't. Well, granted, it is a tax write off if they give it to like a Pick Purple, because we do a clothing drive at the end of the year, and we donate a whole bunch of stuff too. So if they did donate it, they would have ended up donating it towards the end of the year or sometime, I guess, in 2020. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I wouldn't even want to call their bluff. I would want to go and see, because I had items there too. Mm-hmm. I had my bags there. Mm-hmm. And when I decided that I didn't want to pay anymore and stuff like that, they also told me the same thing they told you, which was that you cannot come and like pick up your items or whatever. So I wasn't tripping, because I took all the stuff that I had sold on my website. I had picked that up like maybe like 2 weeks prior. I had sent one of my interns down there. I'm like, get all my wristlets, get all my coin purses, get this, and this. Mm-hmm. And I took all the stuff that was important to me. The bags to me that were like left over there were the samples, and I had stock of everything. So I wasn't tripping off of it. I'm just like, I got inventory. Like, I'm not tripping. So if you, but I'm like, I'm not paying additional money. And I did the math on the bags that were there, and I'm like, okay, well, if they sell them all, they'll get their money. And that's how I kind of took it. Like, in all honesty, I was just like, they're not gonna give me my bags back. And I do my math. I'm like, oh, okay, boom. So as soon as they sell them bags, that's all your payment right there. Yeah. Actually, it wouldn't cover the whole payment. So I didn't pay for 2 months. I only paid the first month. Mm-hmm. I paid the first month, and then I realized, and to my, because I had worked with them in the past, and because they had a whole new system now, I wasn't sure if it was gonna work, but I'm like, I got inventory, so I'm not tripping. But the conversation that I had with the owners and co-owners was that they had made so many different updates from the beginning, and when they had started out, it was a lot different. It was just like, we didn't have this then, and we didn't have this then, and like it made, even to me, and I'm very well versed in business, but it sounded good. Yeah. It did. It sounded really, really good. It seemed like they had made a lot of revisions and updates. Come find out, the same damn company doing the same damn shit that they've been doing for years, scamming people all the time. Where it's like they can't sell, and that's what it is. Like they can't sell the merchandise, and that's the whole point of retail distribution, is to be able to sell. Mm-hmm. If you can't sell, then what's the point? So yeah. So now we're here where they have, and about how much merchandise in total was it that they donated?
Those samples were worth over $15K.
$15K worth of samples. You have your patterns, right? Your original ones?
Yes.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So you have your patterns, but all your samples are pretty much gone.
That was all the production, imported fabrics, labor costs.
And you did all your samples here. Oh, yeah, it was expensive. I already know that it was.
Yep. And that's not even including the emotional damage. So, well, I can't say too much, but yeah. For the extra products.
We said a lot without having to say too much at all. Okay. But yeah, so I guess, the reason I think you reached out to me in the first place was just to make awareness so that this doesn't like happen to anyone else, and that, you make sure you really read the fine prints of these contracts and stuff like that. And it's okay from a business standpoint to counter a contract. So it's all fine and dandy for people to send over their contracts like that, but you need to put some clauses in there that protect yourself. I gotta sneeze.
Bless you.
Thank you. If for some reason a contract needs to be terminated to lack of sales distribution or lack of what you put into, there needs to be a clause in there for you. Like contracts, a lot of times when someone sends it to you to sign it or whatever, you can come back that, I need this. Contract's supposed to help both people. I need this to go in there, and especially with those concerns that you had with what's going on. If after the first month or 30 days, if I don't see something, like I can cancel this after the first month, So I do encourage designers that are not well versed in, when it comes to just working with business to business transactions, that you are making sure that you're not just signing your life away on these contracts, and making sure that you are writing back the things that you need. Like it's a business relationship. It's supposed to work for both people. So with it working for both people, you have to have your demands set in order as well of what you want. And that's just something that comes with time and experience, and or having like a mentor and stuff like that. Just don't be signing on the dotted line. You have to counter, especially if something is like, we're not gonna get your money back. And I know with your contract, it has said nothing about if you lapse in payment. So that's another thing too. So that's why she is pursuing legal action, because there was nothing in that contract that said that, your items will be donated or this, that. And I think that's really unfair, because I'm going to be honest, like from my standpoint, I've had designers that didn't pay, and I have their stuff too. I never am donating it. It's sitting at the top of my rack. So we move everybody who is non-compliant, or we haven't heard from, or someone who didn't pay, we move them to the top of the rack, or we'll terminate their project and we'll give them a credit. But we never will throw your stuff away. We will never donate your stuff to anyone, because we're hoping that at some point you will be able to come back to us. You will be able to pay. And if you can't even terminate the project, the stuff is still there. Like, it's no reason. I literally had a lady come this week to pick up some samples from me that she left with me in 2018. And I could have charged her as a storage fee, because I've moved 4 times since then. She was with me before I even. But my thing is, the relationships that you build and how you treat people is, I had thought about it long and hard. I'm like, I haven't heard from her in 3 years. I don't even know if I should charge her for this. But it's just like, if I ain't heard from her in 3 years, clearly she ain't got it. That's the first thing that came to my mind. The second thing that came to my mind was she did pay for everything. Everything was paid for. So why am I holding on to it? I mean, not that I'm holding on to it, but like, why charge her a fee? It's literally just been on a bench, sitting on the rack for years, collecting dust, and it's fine. Gave it to her, and I told her, that I was like, I should have charged you a storage fee, but I'm not even like that. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to give you your merchandise. Thank you for being one of the first people to work with me also, and then down the line, what is she going to do? She's probably either going to come back to me for more services, or she's going to recommend me to somebody else. So those relationships that you built is great. And then for retail partner distributions, I just always recommend with designers as a whole, create your retail and your strategy plan from day one. It's always going to be some shit that pops up on Instagram or pop up in your email marketing that comes to you that's going to sound really, really good. But to just make sure that it doesn't take you away from your plan. So you could have used those samples to do a lot of more things on your own, create your own marketing plan, do your own pop-up shops and stuff like that, and even use the money that you spent there to do those things. So just make sure that you're being strategic, in your entrepreneur journey for sure. And definitely, like, I'm glad you reached out to us. Definitely be a part of different communities, because we have a big group thread, and we talk, and we have our monthly wellness checks, and we have our brunches and stuff like that. So having a community that you can be a part of, definitely seek those out. They don't cost anything. To be in the BGDC is nothing. It's just your time, like to dedicate to, us doing customer service and, just helping one another. Like, that was the goal, like to just help one another, just try to figure this shit out, because that's honestly what we're doing. Like, we're all trying to just figure this shit out. Yeah. So right now you're taking a break. Do you plan on continuing maybe later down the line? Like, you're not like, they didn't fuck you up to the point where you just like, I'm completely unmotivated.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no. The drive is too powerful to ever stop. So it's a learning experience.
And we gonna make, you have patterns, so we gonna make those samples over.
Yeah.
We gonna make them over.
Yep.
We might
And
update them,
yep,
and perfect them, and make the
yep.
samples over, affect the patterns, make sure the fit and everything is right, and
Yep.
get you a sales strategy, and then you can go from there. So this is a downfall, and this is actually one of my segments that I do in the podcast or whatever. It's called "It's a Success" or "It's a Disaster," and you talk about something that went to shit, but you learn something from the experience. Yep. Yeah, and you definitely learn something from this experience. So that's the great part about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I cannot start or stop any episode without mentioning our amazing sponsors. This episode is actually sponsored by Gym Slut. Gym Slut is a Houston-based brand. It is an athletic wear brand, so make sure you guys check it out. It is sensual, it is sexy, it is versatile. Make sure you guys check out Gym Slut online. She'll be releasing a new collection this fall. Everything is very sensual. When you go to the gym, you want to feel sexy, you want to feel confident. So definitely check her out. She does do wholesale as well, if you guys want to check out some of the pieces that she currently has, and then her exclusive collection will be out in the fall because she is an LC Apparel consulting client. So well, we shared your "It's a Success, It's a Disaster." So the last part of it is last segment is "It's a Muse." So if you just want to share a mantra, an affirmation, a prayer, a book, anything that just keeps you going, that keeps you motivated, that you would like to share with another entrepreneur. What you got?
Well, I guess it's maybe not a mantra, but I ran across something the other day online, like a quote, basically saying that there will never come a time in your life where everything is perfect. Like, you're always going to run into obstacles or problems, so don't expect everything to be peachy all the time. And that's something that I'm having to understand. At first, with this whole
trust the process.
Yeah, this whole situation that happened, at first, I kind of was like, well, you know what? I don't like crying over spilled milk. What's done is done. However, this was wrong. That this showroom totally took advantage of me, and I'm not going to be quiet about it, and I'm not going to just sweep it under the rug. It's like, I have to just put on my big girl panties and get down to business, contact these lawyers, get some, just start making moves. And
absolutely,
it's never going to be easy. So
you want me to represent you, girl?
So I just have to suck it up and go
Look
for
at
it.
me. I'm like, and if you need me to represent you, I will. Okay, I will. I won't have that Esquire behind my name for another month, but not another month. I got another year. I have another year before I actually finish the fashion law program, but nice. I will. Nice. So yeah, I'm like, because I don't want things like this to happen. In the fashion law program, that's a lot of what we do: contracts, copyrights, patents, like that. We learn how to do all of those stuff so that we can help designers protect themselves.
Nice.
Yep. So there'll be more fashion law attorneys out there. I'll be one of them. Soon come. All right, and as I say, guys, stay black. Peace out. Don't forget to check out our sponsors: Gym Slut, Harlem Fashion Week, Nisha Star Aesthetics. So definitely check out all our beautiful sponsors. They're all Black-owned businesses, and all of their information will be located in the show notes. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.